wondering how I got into this mix.
Hey, what's up everyone? This is Derrick Broze with the Conscious Resistance Network, and today is December 31st, 2017, New Year's Eve here in the United States. Maybe some of you have already passed on to 2018. Either way, whatever you're doing, I hope you're being safe and you are enjoying yourself and just really making the most of your time, because New Year's Eve is a time where it seems like people are very keen to make resolutions and talk about plans and get excited about the new year and the opportunities that come with this new calendar cycle. And they get really pumped and they make all these plans, but have difficulty following through with and making these plans become a actual reality. I don't really enjoy that kind of culture, and I'm really not about that. I'm about actually accomplishing the goals, and I want you to accomplish your goals. So let's decide to make this year about that. And as we move into the new year, and I look forward to plenty of exciting things that I'm going to tell you about in a moment, I want to reflect on 2017 for a bit, not just on my personal experience as a journalist and an activist and all the other projects I have going on, but the United States at large, the world in general, and what kind of big things we saw happen. Now, of course, 2017 was the beginning of the Trump administration here in the United States, and that was really a game changer in a lot of ways to some people, because in my view, especially, you're aware of this if you followed my work, in my view, this is really just a continuation of policies before. This is now, we've moved into phase, divide the people as much as possible, pit them against each other in extreme left and extreme right. Use an apparent anti-establishment candidate to divide the masses with increasingly, divisive rhetoric and just polarization. So it's divide and conquer to me, and I think Trump is playing that role. That's what he's here for. And it's really disturbing to see a lot of people, especially activists, freedom activists, anarchists, truth seekers, independent journalists, people that I've worked with now over the last 7 years, see them fall for this, and see people who were once allies and friends now, we're not so much. But it is what it is. And that, of course, has implications and effects around the world, the way that Trump deals with other people. Overall, though, I think that the political system is just a sham in general. I try not to pay too much attention to it unless it comes in, in the form of interfering with your rights and your liberties and how we can defend against that or oppose that. Other than that, what else should we expect? The government's going to continue to grow. They're going to continue to grow the surveillance state, the police state, the wars expanding. I mean, all that's 2017. Yeah, maybe the media didn't tell you about that, but it's the truth. A couple other things that happened in 2017. Earlier in the year we had the whole Pizzagate scandal, and this was also going on during the campaign last year, but this came into 2017 because some of you may remember that around 2017, Ben Swann, journalist Ben Swann, also a good friend of mine, he disappeared off the map and he went dark, as he put it, on social media, took down all his Facebook accounts, YouTube accounts, everything. And as I've said publicly in some events, Ben is alive and well. He's still doing journalism down in Atlanta for CBS Atlanta. I can't really speak to what happened to him. I do know that he's alive. He's told me that when he's ready, he will give me an interview about what's happened when he's ready to come back and speak publicly. I think you guys can speculate as to what happened exactly once Ben went out there, and he does these very well-produced reality check reports, and he decided to do one about Pizzagate and was immediately attacked through all the media, and then within days, he was being, I guess you could say, reprimanded by his superiors, and people were calling for basically his head and his job, and that's pretty much what happened. So that was pretty, a pretty interesting way to start the year off, and it will be sad if Ben doesn't return. What else? Other scandals, the whole pedogate, Pizzagate, that goes into the sort of Hollywood pedophile scandals, and how we learned in 2017 that there's tons of Hollywood executives and politicians and people, powerful, influential people in all sorts of different areas who are involved in like sex trafficking, sex rings, or just in general seem to be involved in a lot different of lifestyles than what they portray on TV. Those who go out there saying that they are Christians and things of that sort are often involved in a lot of crazy things. We also saw some ratcheting up with possibility of wars with North Korea. Will that happen in 2018? Will we go to nuclear war? I don't know. I'm not sure, again, how much I trust this, or if it's just saber-rattling. North Korea does seem to be a rogue country, so to speak, but I don't think the United States or any of the Western nations really have a right to go tell them how to live their lives. So that's probably going to continue in 2018. Of course, 2017 was all about Russia did it. No matter what the crime was, you could blame it on Russia, and somebody would print it, and somebody would trust it and believe it. And again, that goes back to the division that the media, the corporate media, is being used to divide the people, where plenty of people who maybe once trusted outlets like WikiLeaks and others are now like, oh, that's just Russian propaganda. All the websites that I write for and work with, Activist Post, Anti-Media, Free Thought Project to some degree, Corbett Report, they've all been labeled fake news by different lists online that have been repeated and shared by the deadstream corporate media. And that's very problematic. That comes after our job security, so to speak, and what we do and our credibility and whether or not people are going to come to us for information. So that was a really big theme as well this year, fake news being blamed for messing up the election, right? And that's problematic, and I think we're going to see that increase going into 2018. Now, a little bit more about my personal work and what I've seen and some solutions. We've also seen the development of something known as Nexus. Look up nexusearth.com, N-E-X-U-S. Nexus Earth is a project to create decentralized internet using satellites based in space, of course, cryptocurrency, blockchain based in space. Really awesome ideas that could get us past these problems of what to do about net neutrality, another big issue in 2017. I actually spoke at the Nexus Earth Conference in September in Colorado. It was a very awesome time, lots of good people there, and you can find my talks from Nexus on our YouTube channel and all the interviews I did there, including with Ron Paul, Dennis Kucinich, and others. And I think that the solutions exist. We need to stop looking to government and corporations for solutions, of course. You guys know that that's my usual answer to these things. As far as other things in 2017, I did a national tour. Thank you to every single one of you who out there who supported the tour, whether it was financially, by visiting us on the tour, or helping with volunteering in some way. I very much appreciate it. There will be a Conscious Resistance Decentralize Your Life tour in 2018. I don't know what it's called yet. And what it's going to entail. This year, we did 48 cities, 9 weeks. We volunteered in every single city we visited, whether that's community gardening, urban farming, feeding the homeless, cleaning up parks and beaches. We also held meditations. I gave a presentation on freedom cells and holistic anarchism. Lots of exciting things. I'm so thankful to have the opportunity to come meet you guys. And in 2018, we're going to be doing even more cities, probably somewhere in the lines of 60, 65, 70 cities. We're going to break it up into several different portions so I don't have to be on the road for 5 weeks straight. But we're going to visit all of you, and we're probably going to get into Canada, maybe even Mexico as well. And who knows when we'll get to Europe, 2019 perhaps, if everything keeps growing. My work did grow throughout the year. As I said, I'm writing for Anti-Media still, writing for Mint Press News as well. I did a few new in-depth reports for Mint Press News this year. Continue to write for Activist Post, continue to do my own independent work through the Conscious Resistance, as well as living and working with the Houston Freethinkers activist community in the Freethinker House here in Houston. You can see all those videos. We did a whole set of videos about our projects here in the house and how we're living sustainably. I mean, 2017 has been a very successful year for me. And as far as journalism goes, you can just check the channel. I mean, I did interviews with Christopher Bolin, with Justin King, with, as I said, Dennis Kucinich, Ron Paul, talked to Jesse Ventura some more. I did a lot of new work as far as on freedom cells, tons of other interviews, Larkin Rose, Jeffrey Tucker a few different times, Adam Kokesh. And I also released, I almost forgot, my third book with John Vibes called Manifesto of the Free Humans, which you guys can find for free on theconsciousresistance.com/books. I think that's probably the best work I've ever done. And since then, I've released some new essays just in the past couple weeks that you can find on the website, exploring and expanding upon this idea of holistic activism, holistic anarchism. And now I am working for 2018 on my next book project, which is called The Holistic Self-Assessment. It's going to be meant for all audiences, not just anarchists, not just activists. It's going to be a self-help book of sorts that can work and complement and supplement my philosophical anarchist material, because it's going to focus on how we as individuals can heal ourselves and empower ourselves, so that I believe we can get to the position where we recognize that there is no need for authorities over our lives. So this is going to address more of the psychological, emotional, and spiritual issues, and I think that it will be of value to you, whether you're an anarchist or not. Look for that coming this year. I also started to get more requests for interviews. I was featured on RT News, Russia News, several times throughout the year, quite a few different times on different issues. So that's cool to get my name, my work out there. And I continue to do the Conscious Resistance Live. We're on episode 81 that we just released this weekend, and more will come. I see a lot of exciting things. We're going to get back to doing this live format, an hour or more, very well produced, and interviewing interesting guests and bringing solutions, focusing on solutions. Also looking forward to 2018, I plan to really grow the Freedom Cells movement. Check out freedomcells.org. That's CELLS. And again, Freedom Cells was a big part of the tour, and a big part of everything I was promoting this year. That is going to be a big goal of 2018, is how we can start to tie together these various groups and individuals who are doing positive work, mutual aid groups and support groups across the country and across the world, and how we can start to work together using the technology that we have today, the network that I have, and whatever other resources we can come together to use. Also in 2017, we saw really a lot of division within the libertarian movement itself, was certain people went to the alt-right, some people maybe went further left, others just stayed in the middle and were like, what the heck is happening? I talked quite a bit about that throughout the year with my debate with Chase Rachels. I did a really interesting interview with Jeffrey Tucker at Anarchapulco about the alt-right. And I also just released an essay last week called Removing the Alt-Right Infection from the American Libertarian Movement. So lots of good things. I think that's where I'm going to leave it now. But I think that's where I'm going to leave it at for now. But you guys can go find all my videos on youtube.com/consciousresistance. I've moved away from using Facebook. I will be back on Facebook shortly, but I'm definitely making much more use of Steemit. Steemit.com/@DBroze. Please get on Steemit, use it. Let's support each other. Let's help grow that community. In my experience, people are much cooler, much nicer and friendlier on Steemit than on Facebook. And I've been making money, making crypto, paying myself, getting paid by supporters and by this blockchain technology for the work that I've done over the last 7 years and for the new work that I'm doing. So that's great. So find me on Steemit, find me on YouTube, DTube, Facebook. We're on Instagram at The Conscious Resistance. 2018 is going to be a very, very big year. I have some exciting projects that I can't talk about yet, but definitely the new book. There will be audiobooks for the Conscious Resistance Trilogy series coming up, the 2018 tour, and one other project that I'm excited to tell you about, but I can't tell you about yet. So thank you so much for the support in 2017. I look forward to working with you in 2018. And remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, you are free. Peace.
Walking on by to a new day, I turn to the mountain of the fountain of the knowledge that I learned. Walking on by to a new day, I turn my true self dwelling in the clouds.